Go ahead, say it now.
You in the grill pit, bitch.
Our distinguished guest, he is more than a scholar, he's more than a lecturer, he's more than an activist, he is a legend, a living legend amongst our people. He is one of the elders of the African community. He has given his life to study as well as teaching our people about their great past and the prospects for an even greater future. He is a man whose presentation of history is penetrating and powerful, and he has a way of bringing history alive. And I think that those of you that have heard him before, and those of you that are going to hear him tonight, know that there's no one that is quite able to put history, I'll describe it in quite the way that our lecturer tonight does. It is with great pride and pleasure that I present to you, and I also ask that you receive with as warm a reception as you can receive.
This is SAF Money, your prison lawyer, and I'm gonna give it to you, bro. Or I ain't gonna give it to you at all. IGSTS on GP. You feel me?
White MFers.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says, because it's America and you should be able to do and say what the fuck you want. God bless America.
A man who was accepted as a god in Europe long before the birth of Christ, accepted quite a few Africans as deities. Imhotep, this great African who was the world's first multi-genius.
This is SAF Money, your prison lawyer. I want to welcome you to the Grill Prig. Thank you, doctor, for that introduction. I couldn't have said it any better myself. And this is SAF Mo, your prison lawyer. And I want to bring you, I should call this episode From Sugar to Shit. Because unless you live underneath the rock, you've been paying attention to what's going on with this Instagram OnlyFans model issues, from Instagram model to murderous. And I really want to dive into that. But before we get into that real quick, I want to thank all my fans, people who follow me, and just let's check out this defense attorney, what he's got to say about what happened that night.
But he did make his way back up to the apartment on several occasions during that week. What somebody says automatically becomes a fact. We need to get back to understanding, wait for the facts to come out. We cannot rush to judgment. The incidents of that night were very traumatic, and I think almost anyone in that position, at least an innocent person in that position, is traumatized.
Real pit. Man, IGSTS we trust. Man, you know what I'm saying? I'm bringing you one straight out the headlines. Man, I don't know. These people keep me busy, man. You know, and I guess it's a good thing people ain't watching it, because these people doing dumbass shit. So if you're not familiar with this, or if you are, I'm just going to hit you with my take of the situation. SAF Mo, your prison lawyer. Ha! You understand? But this headlines go AP report. It's all across the news. Everybody's got a different take on it. But this one I pulled straight from NBC News. And OnlyFans model is accused of murder in her boyfriend's fatal stabbing. I'm not gonna. This is SAF Mo, your prison lawyer, and I'm not. I don't have that JD. So I'm not gonna get be speaking legally about anything that's substantial, because really nothing could be talked about, because everything's an allegation, right? But there's some things that rub me the wrong way. Domestic violence, being played, female jetting off to Hawaii for her post-traumatic, whatever the fuck type shit. And just the family getting involved, family being really proactive in this demo to make sure she gets charged. But another thing that I want to deal with is just this stripper mentality. That's what I called it when I was pimping. Remember, SAF Mo was out there pimping. And you get that stripper mentality, and fans only, OnlyFans and Instagram model. That shit really blows your head up to make you feel as though you're more than what you are. But that's just SAF Mo talking. It might be applicable, it might not be. Take it if you can, run with it, not leave it. But let's just play, and I'm gonna skip through a little bit of this because the DA does all these accolades for all these clowns that's standing behind her. You know, and I mean clowns. Leo, the family. I deeply I have a lot of respect for the family actually making this happen, because it could have been easily swept underneath the rug, but they made this thing happen. Let's play a little bit and see what you guys think. Let's go. Let's do this. SAF Mo.
Where there is a OnlyFans/Instagram model who is being accused of killing her boyfriend. She says it was self-defense. We do have an update coming to us from our officials in Miami. Let's go ahead, bring it to you right here on Live Now from Fox.
Every act of violence in a relationship is always an act of domestic violence. Those words, domestic violence, should have a decidedly ugly feel to them. Domestic violence is something I and our entire Miami-Dade community has worked hard to end. Understand the pain and the tragedy that domestic violence has always produced for the direct victims and for the indirect victims, such as children. That is why I am proud to have originally created Florida's first felony domestic violence unit and have developed a basic prosecutorial approach aimed at combating domestic violence that is now used by prosecutors throughout Florida. Pain created by domestic violence is stunningly apparent when it leads to a tragic death of one of the partners. Violence brings us directly to the reason we are here today, which is the killing of Christian Ombumseli on April 3rd, 2022. He died in Unit 2201 of a residence located at 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue in the city of Miami. We are charging 26-year-old Courtney Taylor Clenny with 1 count of second-degree murder in Christian's death. She has been taken into custody in Hawaii. She has not yet been brought to court for a hearing, but when she does go for a hearing, she will at that time have the option to either waive or contest extradition. It is our understanding that her lawyers have stated that she will waive extradition. In the meantime, my extradition division has been working with the Hawaiian authorities, the U.S. Marshals, and the Miami-Dade Police Department to ensure a smooth process if she does decide to waive. If she contests extradition, the law requires her.
This a little bit, just bring it up to speed that she goes to Hawaii. I thought that was kind of weird, you know, but after listening to how things played itself out, it made some sense, but to me it seems like it was a defense within itself, because she was going there for some type of treatment, PSTD, whatever, to chill and get away from things. I mean, you know what it is. It is what it is. You know, they let her go. She did what, she wasn't under arrest. She did what she had to do. She jetted off to Hawaii, you know. Let's just fast forward a little bit, just up to, cause she does all this shit with giving all these, you know, other than the family, you know, shouts out, to the family, but then she gives all these police officers shout outs, and I'm just trying to skip that to get to the meats and potatoes of what's going on. Let's just play it right here, cause I think this might be where she starts to break down the case a little bit.
Clenny had been involved in an extremely tempestuous and combative relationship. As an example, it was learned that the security and building staff at the Miami apartment documented many incidents of loud arguments between the couple after they moved into the building in January 2022. Tenants as far as 2 floors above, in an apartment 2 floors above, were making complaints to security and building management about the noises and the ruckus. This problem had, in fact, had the building management moving toward evicting the couple from the building because of these many noise complaints. From the apartment elevator building, you will see that on February 21st, 2022 incident, a month after the couple moved into the building. So let's play that video if we could now. If you look at either.
No, she doesn't show this video, this incident, but I have this like a month prior, before his demise, his murder, alleged murder. Again, I'm SAF Moyer, prison lawyer. I have the JD, so I have to cover my bases so these motherfucking rats, motherfucking scorpions, these motherfucking snitches, call themselves lawyers, don't come after me. But so I'm gonna play that, and just to build up, as this DA, I'm assuming she's a DA, or the focal point, main prosecutor on this situation. I feel as though she's using domestic violence now against Mrs. Taylor, aka Taylor, Courtney Taylor. The real name's not Courtney Taylor. You know, it's Klingy, whatever, however you say that name. But Taylor is what she's known by. I think she's building up to that because everything they put out shows Courtney to be the aggressor, right? So far, they're showing her as the aggressor. So that's what that elevator incident's gonna show, her being the aggressor. So I'm gonna fast forward through that just a little bit and get to the actual. Timeline, because the timeline is very important, because the sequence of events that occur seems to show that there was something else going on. And when Kristen leaves, not Christopher, I apologize, but he supposedly goes by Chris, leaves the place and comes back, within 20-25 minutes this alleged murder occurs. So something happened in that short span of time. But of course, we can say it's been building up for the last 90 days when they moved into the place because of all the calls. But when the state brings that information into, it makes it evidence, and it shows that, like this individual, this lady said, I'm calling her a DA, says that when they came to certain calls, she was inebriated. This Courtney was inebriated. It's showing that she's the instigator, not him. She's the problem maker, not him. It takes two people to fight. Yes, indeed, it does. But if a person is totally illogical and drunk, and you're trying to conversate with them, and they're provoking a situation, then if those police reports show that, it's going to be a problem. But let's go on. I'm not trying to adjudicate this case or anything like that. I'm just trying to make some sense out of what they're doing right now. So I say, if you're a prison lawyer, you're in a grill pit. You feel me?
That's them entering their apartment. You can see, you will draw your own conclusion, but it certainly appears that the defendant was aggressively attacking Christian.
See what I'm saying? So they're trying to flip this domestic argument on its head, the self-defense argument, and they're gonna dispute the self-defense argument too. So the establishment of this domestic violence conversation is gonna be broken down with this timeline. So let's go.
That's them entering their apartment. You can see, you will draw your own conclusion, but it certainly appears that the defendant was aggressively attacking Christian. Such interactions appear to have caused Clenny and Christian to separate at various times in their relationship, including the last week of March 2022, when Clenny expelled Christian from the apartment. This occurred while Clenny's mother, Deborah Clenny, who was in town and staying in the apartment. Defendant Clenny and Christian then rekindled their relationship on Friday, April 1st, 2022, after her mother left to go home to Texas. At that time, Christian moved back into the apartment. Arguments began almost immediately, with police responding to the apartment. Police reported that Clenny appeared intoxicated when she was contacted on the evening of April 1st, 2022, including the last week of March.
So you can see that they're painting this picture of this individual who's out of control, right? Has no connection to reality, right? And what I mean, you have a couple of, it's just the video showing that the gentleman is not the aggressor. The day, a few days before the actual alleged murder, showing up at the residence and she's inebriated. It's just showing. How many more police reports are we going to look at that's going to show that same behavior where this individual is the aggressor? I don't know, but it doesn't look good.
Mother, Deborah Clenny, who was in town and staying in the apartment on April 1st, 2022. This was 2 days before the homicide. On Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, the day of Christian's death, events started peacefully, with the couple filming themselves with their dogs in the apartment. A key fob for the records showed that Christian left the apartment at 1:15 p.m.
Now, there's no, she's clearly saying that before he left at 3-something or 1-something, 1:30 or so to go out, there was no argument. Nobody reported anything. There was no noise or anything like that. So let's go.
And returned about 3 hours later at 4:32 p.m.
So he leaves at 1:30, and now he's returning to the place. So prior to that, from whatever time they woke up till 1:15, leaving the apartment, to his return, it's been quiet. Let's go.
With sandwiches that he had bought for both of them. So what we've done here now, if you look at the screens, you'll see there a timeline. While you look at it, I'm going to try to go through it because the timing is very important to understand in this case. So at 4:01, Clenny called Christian. Then she goes live on Instagram. And then at 4:33 p.m., she called him again, shortly after posting the video. At 4:33 p.m., Christian walks into the apartment. 10 minutes later, at 4:43 p.m., Clenny called her mother.
So your question is now, why is she calling her mother? Why is she calling her mother? Now her mother is going to be critical critical, right, to establish what's going on in that apartment at those particular moments, right?
That call lasted till about 4:49 p.m., just over 6 minutes.
So he's only been in the apartment right now for about, 10, 15 minutes? 15 minutes at the most. 15 minutes at the max. So he's been in an apartment now, and so whatever happens was on nitro. Whatever happened.
At 4:49, Clenny made a second call, almost immediately, to her mother. They spoke until 4:56 p.m., a little over 7 minutes. I think
we hit that apartment to the time she called her mother. Something had happened, because now she's on the phone with her mother. 2 times back to back, she calls her mother. Man, follow this timeline, man. So something happened in like 10, 12 minutes. It's OJ shit.
4:57 p.m., Clenny calls 911. At 4:57, police officers exit the elevator.
So I'm saying this is important because 13 minutes, 6 and 7, 13, she's on the phone with her mother. It's impossible for her to do anything because she has the phone in her hand. And if they were all arguing, she should have been like, yeah, I heard Blase Skippy, blah, 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 whatever. She would have said something to that effect. We don't hear that. We figure out is a conversation going back and forth. Because the daughter doesn't seem in distress that we know or anything like that. So all this is speculative conversation, right? We don't know exactly what's going on. But we do know that when she gets off the phone with her mother, she calls the police, calls 911. And what does she say? Call 911. What's she say?
At the unit. Christian stabbing must have occurred between 4:33 p.m. when he returned to the apartment with those sandwiches and at 4:57 p.m. when the defendant, Clenny, called 911. Also, at the same time during that period of time, that being 4:33 p.m. to 4:57 p.m., neighbors began calling the building manager about a disturbance at the apartment. Security called 911 at 4:46, notifying them of the disturbance. 11 minutes later, at 4:57, defendant Clenny called 911 to tell the police that Christian was suffering from a stab wound.
So everything is just, so the neighbor's calling at 4:46, the police is getting called at 4:57. He just came in the house and mom's on the phone. She mentioned the DA mentions that mom hears her tell him to get out the spot. And it can't be just that, get out the spot, because he was just in the spot and he left and came back. So what happened? Is this a case of some mental instability? We don't know. SAFMO don't know. SAFMO don't know. I'm just saying, because it's just such a small amount of time with not a lot going on, and at the end of end of 20 some minutes, we have a death. 30 some minutes, we have a death. It's crazy.
And needed help. On that 911 call, Christian can be heard in the background repeatedly saying that he was dying and he was losing feeling in his arm. Defendant Clenny is also heard saying, "I'm so sorry, baby." In her telephone statement to the police on the date of the incident, Clenny's mother stated she heard her daughter yelling at Christian, remember she's on the phone with her, telling him to leave the apartment, and she heard defendant Clenny saying that Christian was lying. Later, In her, what we call post-Miranda recorded statement to the police, defendant claimed he admitted to having caused Christian's injury, also provided several inconsistent accounts about the incident itself. After an argument, defendant Claney claims and says that Christian shoved her against the wall by the neck, and although he did not actually choke her, then she says he threw her to the ground but allowed her to get up.
So these dumbass Instagram photos and OnlyFans or fans only, whatever the fuck it's called, OnlyFans, doing a business, you know, showing the wares and, you know, getting paid for it. And I ain't mad at you. Do what you do, you know. But she's not watching RGSTS, right? Because the first thing SAF Mo would have told you, without a JD, understand, shut your motherfucking mouth. You know, I don't believe in lawyers. I don't believe in super lawyers. I don't believe none of that shit. But what they can use and what they tell you they would use when they read your Miranda rights, and even if they're not utilizing you as you're not a suspect, you're a witness at this particular point, it doesn't matter, because a witness can easily become a motherfucking suspect. And if it's only two of you in that goddamn house, you think somehow self-defense defense is going to work for you, you probably wanted to throw down a gun or goddamn it another knife to bolster your self-defense claim. You know what I'm saying? And that's just SF. I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, like, if you listen to my motherfucking podcast, and apparently she didn't, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, like I said, to me, motherfuckers don't have to listen. You're going to end up where this broad is, end up, you know, the best case scenario, motherfucking plea deal, right? On this stretch, because they're gonna hit her with something. You know, all that pretty white girl shit is out the motherfucking window. They thirsty, right? And so with this, and then the fact that you're making it a domestic violence situation makes it even worse. It's like a slap in the face to those individuals who actually been experiencing domestic violence when they break down this case, right? When they start breaking it down, because it's obviously that if the worst case scenario, or best case scenario, I should say, in her defense, is it was 50-50, because the way they're painting it is she's the domestic violence individual. And if they can paint that picture and you interject it into the conversation, it's going to be bad on you, right? You interjected it, you're trying to utilize it as a defense along with self-defense, and neither of them they will apply, just based on what's going on. And that's just me looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a lawyer. Don't listen to me. But I'm saying, if she listens to SAF Mo, one thing I tell you is you should shut your fucking mouth, because you are your best witness against yourself. And right now they're using all your motherfucking words against you, like this shit right here that supposedly happened. What the fuck? You binge watching motherfucking Netflix and the Oxygen channel, because this shit sound like some shit straight out of that. But if you listen to SAF Mo, I would have told you the dumbest shit you're saying. You should have kept that. You should have kept that shit on Netflix. You should have kept that shit on Netflix.
And it was at that point that defendant Clancy went to a kitchen area and got the knife. As Christian sort of approached her, she threw the knife at him from a distance that she's estimated to be about 10 feet.
This bitch, what the fuck you think you is, a carnival clown or something? That shit don't work. The fuck you talking about? You threw the knife and it stuck into him? Like, what the fuck is you talking about? I mean, how does that make any sense? So I guess to be an Instagram model or OnlyFans model, you don't have to be smart, because none of that shit makes sense to a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense. And you don't believe that they could figure out if you thrown a knife or if you stabbed a motherfucker. I mean, you don't even have to watch SAF Mo for that shit. You can just watch goddamn Forensic File. They'll tell you that shit. But she probably wasn't watching nothing but watching likes on her motherfucking Instagram page. I don't know what the fuck. This shit is crazy.
The police observed no visible injuries, which would have corroborated her account.
And that's just killing her. That's why I don't understand what took them so long to put her behind bars. Right away, if it was I think if it was somebody of color that was telling this motherfucking bold-faced ass lie, had no defensive wounds on them whatsoever, didn't get beat up, nothing on you, but you had to kill this motherfucker, It only makes sense in white America. It only makes sense. And then, like I said,
and she had no injuries. In describing the stabbing incident, at no time did defendant claim Christian was armed with any type of a weapon. And based on the location,
that kills our defense right there. It's just like like I said, why aren't you watching us? That would have killed this. It's obvious. It's easy. It's easy. Why would you claim self-defense? Why would you even do this shit, first and foremost? But why didn't you turn around and claim self-defense when you're the only person with a weapon? I guess you said Zimmerman did it so she can. Fuck out of here. Dummy. Keep it wrong.
Of the stab of the wounds, the medical examiner opined. In other words, it was her opinion that throwing the knife from that distance would not have caused that fatal.
Listen, man, from that distance, listen, bro, listen, it probably would have bounced off of him if it even hit him. Come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop the shenanigans. Stop it. I bet you still stick with that motherfucking lie, too.
Stab wound. But rather that it was a downward strike with a knife could have only caused that fatal stab to the artery that led to the Christian's bleeding to death.
So now, I mean, based on the state of Florida's allegation, she's a straight up murderer. This is crazy. I mean, that's just like the man was down, you were above him, you stabbed him. So was he laying down? Was he sitting down?
The violent and toxic 2-year relationship of Christian Obumseli and Courtney Claney did not have to end in tragedy with Christian's murder as a victim of domestic violence.
Who the victim is of this domestic violence. You understand? Like, now we see who's being painted as the victim. And I'm shocked to see if anybody comes, because nobody really talking about this, right? Nobody's going to, mess around with it. I'm sure if it was the black male who killed it was O.J. Simpson's situation, everybody be on it, right? It'd be national news. But I feel like they're trying to sweep the shit underneath the rug, either because of the fans only or the Instagram bullshit. Or it's a white girl type of shit. Nobody's really trying to talk about the shit, and it is what it is, right? You know what I'm saying? So when it's a male, and this is why SFMO is doing this, right? This was just a male domestic violence plastered all on the TV. Now we got a situation where it's alleged that a female not only committed domestic violence, it's obvious from just the one video, but she also murdered a motherfucker. It wasn't even charged. Was able to walk out of the police station with no marks on her. I mean, it's obviously she's lying. Maybe I should move the motherfucker. I probably shouldn't move the
Personal relationships should never involve domestic violence. And make no mistake about it, domestic violence is a crime. No one should tolerate. Men are often, unfortunately, unwilling to come forward as victims of domestic violence, or of intimate violence, as it is sometimes called. The sequence of domestic violence events can be broken, but it takes a first step. That first step needs to be taken. If anyone is caught in a domestic, dangerous, violent situation, please know that there's a strong, huge safety net of resources and shelters in this community that are available. If you are, of course, in an emergency situation,
and I truly believe the problem with the whole scenario is that this much is a female-based situation. The majority of the individuals who do so for domestic violence are females, which is understandable. But the fact of the matter of this story not taking on the momentum that it would if the colors were reversed and the roles were reversed first, right? This would be everywhere. Everybody would have something to say about it, but not just trying to sweep it underneath the rug. And her, and I hate to say it, in her situation, by being swept underneath the rug, they're able now to give her all the force of the law, right? Make sure she takes this plea deal that they're going to send across the table and do some time. You know, how much time, I don't know. You know, I know Florida is really a draconian state when it comes to it. But another reason why SAFMO did this, because I dealt with these situations before, being in the field that I was in and doing the stuff that I did do. I dealt with this. I used to always call this a stripper mentality. You take a broad, go pick her up from Texas, you know what I'm saying? And average looking white broad, and you know, fix her up, give her some makeup, get her hair done, give her some extensions, maybe give her a boob job. And all of a sudden she started getting these likes and these views and these things from these gentlemen, and all of a sudden she has this disconnect with reality. A lot of times what they end up doing is they end up marrying a trick, right? Somebody who's talking in their ear, telling them how beautiful they are, and they're in a fucked up relationship and all this other stuff. But you know what I'm saying? You saved her, right? You saved her. But prior to that, she was working at Burger King, right? Or she was at home with mom, not knowing what she was gonna do, right? And you showed her how to make some money. She get a little bit of money, get a big ass head, and all of a sudden she's off to the races. She don't want to fuck with you no more. But what I'm getting at is it creates that toxic environment. A lot of times the toxic environment too comes with drugs and alcohol too. So I don't know how much that played a part, but I know that played a part in my relationships. Was a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, right? Wasn't a big weed smoker, but I did drink alcohol, and that got you. You start feeling the alcohol and start saying things and start doing things that made no sense. And that could end to, and many a times, a night out on the town, coming back from the bar, you know, if them drunk a whole 1.75 Hennessy, or even just a liter Hennessy, right? Straight up, you know, and you straw off that Hennessy, and you could wait. I'm just thankful I didn't wake up to this scenario, right? Me or somebody else, because you know it's just how it is, right? And that's what I don't understand about this lifestyle. I just don't understand about these platforms, because it glorifies this behavior, and yeah, we're not seeing it on a mass. Everybody's not murderesses or murderers or blah, 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 blah. But that situation goes on pretty much every time individuals go out, whether it be arguments, whether it be fights, whether it be friendships breaking up, whatever it might be. This is the worst case scenario, right? This ongoing toxic relationship that built off probably some bullshit that happened last year that kept on just building till it ended up like this. We don't know. It'll come out in the court records. But with that being said, and you know my thoughts, prayers go out to the family. I feel some type of way about this because it was an industry that I was in. And I'm not just talking about it. It's a crime that I got convicted of. You know what I'm saying? Not on this level, but on another level. You know, it's just the players, you know, the game's still the same. Players just change, right? So I say for your prison lawyer. And you're in the grill pit. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the New York Post did report that fans only fans, whatever the fuck. I think they should change their damn names. Fans only, but only fans bribed Meta. Meta is the new name for Facebook, right? To put thousands of porn stars on terror watch lists. There's a lawsuit being filed. It's actually being adjudicated, but they claim that what OnlyFans did was take certain individuals that had their information. I'm gonna read this is straight out of the news. I can't make this up. SAFMO can't make this up. But they were that they put stuff that they put on Instagram accounts. So adult performers who sold X-rated photos and videos on rival sites. So OnlyFans performers, I guess I can use that motherfucking word. It's a liberal word, so just take it for what it is. Who took their products to Instagram and sold it. That their accounts were falsely tagged as containing terrorist content, crippling their ability to promote their business and devastating their income. This is according to the lawsuit. So these people, the mob, right? I mean, I guess legally they could pay Meta to take this money so they can flag individuals' accounts. And I feel like personally, a lot of this stuff is going on behind the scenes when it comes to certain content. And this conversation nobody really wants to have, right? Nobody really wants to talk about how these people with this money are utilizing the platform to push this bullshit content. That's why people don't watch IGSTS, and why we really don't pop up, or we don't get the views, even though we have the content, even though we're pushing something with subject matter. And these individuals with bullshit ass subject matter, they're getting all types of views. Nobody's talking about this shit. Nobody's talking about the kid in Quincy, Illinois, that raped the girl, who's now probably at home chilling, eating motherfucking Fruit Loops, because that type of shit they don't want. And that's criminal injustice. You know, they want to play this game over and over again. They want to keep individuals like my man Derek Jordan locked up, my man Marvin Haynes locked up, my man Richie Rich locked up, my man Carlos Smith locked up, my man Mahdi Ali. And we're trying to get these individuals home. And I know I'm digressing a little bit, but what's fucked up is about it because people aren't connecting the dots. If these individuals have the money to utilize a platform, to play the platform, to tag, because they don't want they don't want individuals to make money they want to try to control their income. People got to have to wise up. As much as you think that platform is your liberty or freedom, you can look at this Courtney, who's probably going to do time. I can almost bet on it. You know, not because anything, just based on the situation where she opened her mouth and she talked to the people and they have a statement from her saying that she did X, Y, and Z. If she just kept her fucking mouth, she would have, that bogus ass story she came up with about throwing the motherfucking knife like she's a circus act. She was, her lawyers would have been, and that's why you have a defense. That's why you pay them money, so they can come up with this fabricated lie that makes sense associated with what the state has for evidence. Apparently she doesn't understand that because she doesn't watch IGSTS, but you do. So you're going to be one step above the game watching SF Mo, giving you to real. So I always try to give you the game straight. I just try to give you the game. I just hope that you see it straight. You feel me? It's SF Mo, your prison lawyer. SF Mo, your prison lawyer. It's SF Mo, your prison lawyer. And you're in a grill pit. You feel me? No, I guess the final question we have, and I guess how I started this off is that is OnlyFans producing murderers and terrorists? Because for the most part, for what we've seen these last couple of weeks, that's what's coming out of this shit. Is murderers and terrorists, and that's crazy. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go smoke my cigar. This is SF Mo, your prison lawyer. Keep watching, support us. You feel me?